everyone, this is Psycho. I'm recording commentary for the very first time on footage from Killing Floor 2. This is part of the new Summer Sideshow content that they released. I'm completing a seasonal objective called A Fine Vessel, which is to complete a match on this particular map, which is called the Airship. And it's on hard difficulty or a higher difficulty level. I set the game to be solo offline. Normally you can play 6 players co-op online. I set it to solo and hard difficulty on a short match, which is 4 waves, to make it as easy as possible. The objective is to just complete the 4 waves and kill the boss on hard or greater difficulty, and you complete the objective. And it is I believe it's the easiest way to complete the objective. Normally I would play online with whoever's online, go into matchmaking and play 10 waves or whatever. It's what I normally do, and I normally do that on normal difficulty because I'm trying to just get all of the perks or classes in the game up to reasonable level. But anyway, I wanted to see how well I could make one of these videos, how well I could do commentary and things like that, and considering you know, making some more videos with commentary and posting them out there.
I've got some backup systems I can try.
I wanted to kind of introduce and promote a PlayStation community called the Grindhouse. Essentially, it's kind of a social club, or a community to post information about specific types of movies. We're talking genre movies, cult horror, exploitation movies. There's underground art house kind of stuff, mondo movies, sex movies, all of those kind of things. And they tend to be older stuff fits under the Grindhouse umbrella. Wanted to kind of share stories, the communities to share stories. Maybe if you're a video collector, maybe show off your collection, show what you've been picking up on DVD and Blu-ray lately, or VHS even, if you're into VHS. To just generally reach out, maybe even find people to play with with similar interests. Yeah, that's what the Grindhouse community's about. It's been around for a while. There aren't many members, and as of lately, I'm the only one that's really posting in there. There have been others, but it's pretty. I don't want to say it's dead in there, because I do post here and there and kind of like show off my collection and talk about things. But yeah, it's kind of dead. And so if anyone is interested in it, I would encourage joining and start posting stuff, informational things about what you've been watching, and maybe tell stories about how you got into the genre films and films. So that's another subject to talk about, is movie versus film, because it seems like film is like a highbrow way of saying movie. But anyway, so yeah, that's what the community's generally about. I've been picking up some pretty decent Blu-rays lately, and a good number of them. This year I decided to work on my collection. I've got a kind of like an office/library, and I've been collecting movies for a couple of decades, and so I've got a lot of VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray, and and I like talking about them. I like telling stories about how I got into this stuff. I like I like listening to other people, because they've seen things that I haven't, for sure, and so I like sharing, and I like it when other people share as well. so that's what the community's about generally. If you think you might be interested in the Grindhouse, if you're into, you know, the most demented and messed up movies of all time, maybe join the community and check it out and see if it's for you. I've got a lot to talk about, and I hope some other people will too. Another interest of mine since I was a little kid is video games, and so I actually did get out of you know, the video game loop or whatever. I kind of lost interest in video games, you know, in my late teens, and it took a while to get back in. So it was probably like my late 20s when you know, I got my Xbox 360, which actually came with the TV because my TV died, and so I was looking at TVs, and the one that I wanted just so happened to come with a Xbox 360, and so I got into games again kind of right away. It had been years, and I've been with the games ever since. That was almost 10 years ago, and so I'm back on playing games again, and having a good time, but pretty solitary lifestyle here with video games and movies and things like that. But I'm actually able to afford to pick up some new Blu-rays, and man, the video distributors these days, they're putting out really nice quality, high definition cult and exploitation films, old horror movies, and things like that. It's like home video renaissance again, like I haven't seen since the early days of DVD, and so I'm really happy with what some of these distributors are putting out, and the physical media format of Blu-ray. Where looking at what the studios are doing with it, it's not very impressive. But looking at what some of the independent distributors, such as you know, Severin Films, Synapse, Vinegar Syndrome, even Code Red, what they're doing, it's really impressive, and I'm having a lot of fun picking up new titles. I get new releases. Severin Films has a mid-year sale that starts tonight, and so everything, all of their movies are 50% off, at least anything before 2018, sans package deals or bundles. So I'm looking forward to picking up pretty much everything I want that I don't have from Severin Films, and that's going to be a pretty big deal for me. But anyway, yeah, more about me. You know, I've kind of always loved horror movies. It started probably like 8 years old, and you know, my dad took me out on a Saturday afternoon, and I wanted to rent Creepshow because I liked the cover image for Creepshow with the, you know, like the skeleton in the ticket booth, and so we brought that home on a Saturday afternoon and watched it. I also had seen Prom Night around that time as well. They were showing it on TV fairly frequently. But so after watching Creepshow, you know, and my dad was really supportive. You know, I was like scared by the movie, I guess, but also very fascinated by it. And so I drew this comic strip. I think it was like a 6-panel comic strip of just like my depiction of Creepshow, the first story in particular, Father's Day, and it was you know, comic strip was full of profanity and blood and violence and stuff like that, and I was quite proud of myself for drawing that. It was something I spent some time on, and was enjoying myself. And my mom saw it; she just freaked out. And you know, from there it was like no horror movies, blah blah blah. But I guess she found over time that, you know, she can't really control what I watch fully, or something. I don't know. But it was a problem for a while. But I just got back into, you know, I got to see what I wanted to watch for a large part, and then by the time I was early teens, like 13 or whatever, I had already been like sneaking down in the middle of the night. We had like all the movie channels on cable, so I was watching horror movies and like softcore sex movies and all of these kind of things. I had gained an appreciation for the Black Emanuelle movies with Laura Gemser, and I really liked her. I liked the character of Emanuelle, and kind of like the fun and positive attitude towards sex, which of course any young teenage boy is going to be very interested in. Although it seemed that sex was either supposed to be funny or naughty, depending on who you talk to or what you're watching, right? So I was watching a bunch of stuff that was lightly forbidden, right? So I liked those movies, but I was really after horror for the most part, and so I like Nightmare on Elm Street. Seeing the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie was a really big deal for me, and at that point my mom was still worried that I was going to turn into some demented like psycho killer or something like that. So I had to really fight to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street. But as I continued growing, my early teenage years, I had a TV and a VCR in my room. Getting added to the cable subscription was that came soon after, and I could pretty much watch whatever I wanted. With the TV VCR combo, I got the Toxic Avenger and Swamp Thing on VHS, and so I watched those. It was like Christmas Day, and I watched those. Then, then with the cable and everything like that, I was able to stay up late at night, in my room when nobody knows, and watch whatever I wanted. Then, mid-teenage years, I was going to the video stores and renting anything that looked interesting to me out of the horror section, anything that looked interesting to me in general. And so I saw movies like Necromantic, which is like a German, a really messed up German movie about a necrophiliac and his prostitute necrophiliac girlfriend, and which I really appreciated, and that was weird. But even then, like, by my late teens, like 17, I came across via a friend mail order catalogs for like Gray Market VHS tapes of movies that just weren't available anywhere else. And so I had rented a couple Lucio Fulci movies. I'd seen, Zombie and The Gates of Hell at the time, also known as City of the Living Dead. And that movie really made an impression on me. But I had remembered kind of like the filmmaking style from watching softcore movies like the Black Emanuelle movies on late night cable, and immediately took to the filmmaking style. It's definitely not kind of a Hollywood thing, although of course in America here it's mostly Hollywood that we're exposed to. So I started taking to these things and developing my own kind of taste in movies. I'd like to go on, but the video is going to end soon. I want to make more videos, and I'd like if I actually get good at talking and doing commentary, and so I can continue along making videos, promoting the community, maybe even getting into like live streaming with people if I find the right people to play and talk with. So anyway, I'm gonna sign off, and thanks for listening. I hope you found it somewhat interesting. Have a good time.